everybody, PokeKid here, and today I'm going over it's kind of new, Mega Gardevoire deck. And this deck has seen a little bit of play as kind of a rogue, but over the last weekend at Florida Regionals, which was a standard tournament, our first big standard tournament of the year, I think, there was two rogues that got shown actually quite a bit of play, and they did pretty well. One is this deck, and the other is Gyarados, which I'll be going over probably next video or the video after. So, let's just get straight into the deck. So, you start off with 4 Shaman, and you'll understand why we run 4 Shaman later. And then you run 4 Gardevoire, and then 4 Mega Gardevoire. And Mega Gardevoire is your main attacker. For 1 fairy and 1 colorless, Despair Ray does 110 damage, and then discard as many of your bench Pokemon as you like. This attack does 10 more damage for each bench Pokemon you discard in this way. And usually at most, you're gonna discard 7 Pokemon. If you discard more than 7, then you're probably discarding a Gardevoire, and you don't want to do that. So usually you can end up doing 180, so Megas like Mega Rayquaza will be quite a bit of a problem. Mega Mewtwo is not as much of a problem because they have weakness to you, because this is a dual type, Fairy and Psychic. And then you run 3 Hoopa to just get out all of your guys. And what's awesome is you can Hoopa for like 2 Gardevoirs and a Shaman, and then you can just loop it over and over. And then you run a bunch of cards to get back Pokemon, so you can just continuously use Despair Ray over and over. So, going into the items, we've got 2 Escape Rope, 4 Mega Turbo, 1 Repeat Ball. And the Repeat Ball is so you can get usually a second Hoopa or a third Hoopa. And then you've got 4 Super Rod. And this is going to be your main card to get back Pokemon, obviously. And you can also get back your 7 Fairy Energy, because you only run 7, which really is not much, but you can get them back with Super Rod, so that's okay. 4 Trainer's Mail, just so you can actually get access to your Super Rods and Karen and stuff. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, 2 Hex Maniac. And some people might look at this and say, you don't want to run Hex Maniac, you're going to block off your cards. But it's kind of actually necessary for the Volcanion matchup, and it's not, oddly enough, it's not actually that necessary against Garantina, because against Garantina, you just attack with Gardevoire, you use Shining Wind, and the thing is, they have weakness, so you're doing 200 damage. So you're one-shotting them. But Volcanion can be quite a hard matchup unless you get a lot of hexes. And then you run 1 Karen, the big new card that is getting quite a bit of hype. A lot of people wish this had come out in time for Worlds, but it didn't. But here it is now. It comes from the Keldeo and Rayquaza Battle Box. You get 2 of them. And what it does, it's a supporter. Each player shuffles all Pokemon in his or her discard pile into his or her deck. So you can just get back all those Shamans, all those Hoopas, all those Gardevoirs and Mega Gardevoirs. It's a lot of fun. And then you got 2 Lysandre, which you really, it could go down to 1 and then you could add Delinquent. But the thing is, it's really awesome because Mega Gardevoire does 110, so you can Lysandre up Shaman, which has 110 health, and just knock it out with if you're behind and don't have much Pokemon on your bench. You run 1 N and 1 Sycamore. Now this is the lowest supporter line that I've ever seen in any deck. Ever. I've seen. I mean, I bet in like way back in base set or something there was a deck that didn't run any supporters because they didn't exist or something. But 1 N, 1 Sycamore. That's all. Yep. This deck can dead draw, but with 4 Shaman, 3 Hoopa, 4 Trainer's Mail, 4 Ultra Ball, you don't get stuck too often. So this is really all you need, and you do need those extra spots for like super odds and stuff. You're on 4 Skyfield, kind of necessary in this deck. 4 Gardevoire Spirit Link, even more necessary than the Skyfield actually. And then 7 Fairy Energy. So 7 Fairy Energy, I would kind of wish if it was 8, but this is a fairly tight deck. You could go down to 1 Escape Rope or 1 Lysandre, but I just like the list how it is. So I'm going to go straight into a game. So here we go. We're playing against a water colorless. And we are in standard, so it couldn't be Keldeo Blastoise. Maybe Greninja. I bet it's Greninja. And Greninja, I'm not sure if it's a good matchup. You do run 2 Hex, so it might very well be. So you don't have to you only have to discard 6 Pokemon. And I mulliganed, and my opponent does now know what I am playing. So I'm going to draw my new hand. And you are going to start with like a Shaman or a Hoopa a lot. That's why you run the 2 Escape Rope. Now those could be 2 Switch. But it's time to see what my opponent's playing, and I was right. It is Greninja. So attaches a Splash and just a pass from my opponent. So I'm going to attach a Fairy, and I actually don't have that good a start either. Although, to be fair, that's really all Greninja needs, just an energy. So I'm just going to end. And I've got 3 Ultra Balls, which is fun. An Ultra Ball, and a Fairy Energy. I'm going to grab a Hoopa. And then Scoundrel Ring for a 2 Gardevoirs. And what would be really awesome if you could Hoopa for Hoopa, but then it would kind of be just a little bit overpowered. You could just Hoopa for Hoopa and then you can get like everything. So Gardevoire, Shaman, set up for 3. Now I think I'm gonna Ultra Ball a Gardevoire, and how many Fairy? 1. You wanna discard Fairy to get them back with Mega Turbo. And I'm not sure actually what I want to get here. I don't think I actually want to get anything. I really just want to do that so I can draw more cards off of Shaman. And I got a Skyfield. Now I can repeat ball and grab a Hoopa. What I really want now is a Gardevoire Spirit Link. And I can Hoopa, Scoundrel Ring, and I only have 2 bench spots left, so I'm keeping that in mind. And I'm just going to grab those 2. I'm going to get a full bench. Play down another Gardevoire, and then set up for 2. And when do you ever see a deck get 4 shaman down. Turn 1. Almost never. Well, I just got that. So I'm going to bring up Gardevoire and then just pass. Yeah, so I got 2 Hoopas, 2 Gardevoires, and 4 Shamans, or 3 Gardevoires, because one's inactive. My opponent's got his water duplicates turn 2, and a bursting balloon. That is interesting. Dive ball for a Froakie, so he can evolve this guy. And then he's gonna water duplicates, grabbing probably 2 or just 1. One surprised, I guess. Okay, good to know. So I'm gonna Trainer's Mail right off the bat. Oh yeah, you can't search your discard pile anymore while you're searching. That's annoying. Well, I'm gonna end if I'm gonna play a supporter, so I'm just gonna grab the Super Rod and now check my discard pile. And I'm not gonna play the Super Rod because there's not really anything I really wanna use with it or get back. So I'm just gonna end and hope I pull a Gardevoir Spirit Link, which I don't. That's annoying. I'm just gonna Trainer's Mail. And I got the Gardevoir Spirit Link, but now I don't have the Mega Turbo. But that's fine. I got the Mega Gardevoir. I'm gonna attach a Fairy Energy and just pass. And then next turn, hopefully, I can pull off a Despair Ray. That would be awesome. So let's see what my opponent does. So he evolves into Greninja and then plays Lysandre, bringing up a Hoopa. And that is really a big reason why you run all of the, what's it called? Yeah, all the escape ropes and stuff. 1, you start with them. 2, basically whenever they're in the active spot. So I did get Fairy Energy. I'm going to attach it to Mega Gardevoir. And then I think I'm going to Lysandre up the Frogadier and just pass. So I'm kind of dead drawing right now. And yeah, basically if this deck doesn't get going, then it's in quite a bit of trouble. So I'm going to discard Hoopa, Shaman, and a Shaman because he bumped my Skyfield. And he replaced it with a Faded Town, which is going to make my Mega Gardevoir take 20 damage in between each turn. And he ended me. Yes, that was very. So I just need a way to retreat. And he's just going to be piling damage on my Mega Gardevoir all the while. Except he's not actually going to be anymore. So I'm going to put 2 Spirit Links, Mega Gardevoir, and I'm actually going to play Super Rod here. Bring back 2 Shamans and a Hoopa. And the reason I just didn't use Karen was really because I want to Hex, so he can't Giant Water Shuriken next turn to knock out my Hoopa. He's gonna have to Moonlight Slash. Because what I really don't want, is him to use Giant Water Shuriken to knock me out. So he bumped my Skyfield yet again. And that's one big issue with this deck, is you run out of Skyfields. And then you can't deal a huge amount of damage. So he uses Moonlight Slash, knocking me out, and he gets a perfect timing with that Bursting Balloon. So I'm going to bring up, I'm going to bring up Mega Gardevoir. I take 20 damage on each of them from the Faded Town. I got a Mega Turbo, that's helpful. I'm gonna Mega Turbo to Mega Gardevoire on the bench, of course. And how many, is it worth it to Karen? I'm gonna Karen next turn because, I would only be doing 130, so is it even worth it to Despair Ray? Because I'm gonna be taking a bunch of damage back. Yeah, I want to get that 2-shot, so I'm just gonna discard the 2 Shamans. Deal 130, taking 60 back, which is annoying, and then 20 on both of them from the Faded Town. That Faded Town is quite annoying. Next turn I'm gonna Karen and get back 2 Shamans, a Hoopa, and a Gardevoire. Puts another Bursting Balloon. Man, those Bursting Balloons are really annoying. And Giant Water Shuriken dealing 60 to the bench Gardevoire. That is a very smart move. Because he's hoping that I'm going to hit him and knock myself out, and then he can knock out my next Mega Gardevoire the next turn. Which I am probably, unfortunately, actually going to have to do. Just to get a prize and hope that I can draw into something else. Something playable that will actually get me new cards, like maybe a VS Seeker. And he just evolves into Greninja, attaches a water to Frogadier. And I'm guessing he's gonna just Moonlight Slash. Or nope, VS Seeker. Grabbing Sycamore, and then probably gonna play Sycamore, I would guess. Or Super Rod first, putting back 2 waters in a town. Oh, that's sad. He has to put back the Talonflame. I mean, you never really want to put back Talonflame into your deck after the first turn. And sometimes it has to be done. So, I take 20 on both of my Pokemon. I hit another Mega Turbo, which is extremely lucky. And my big issue right now is that I'm just behind my discard pile. Yay. And then I'm just gonna have to Despair Ray. I'm going to be knocking him out. I don't want to discard anyone. Except I do take 60 damage back, which is going to knock me out. And I'm going to bring up Gardevoire, because if my Mega Gardevoire gets knocked out, I'm just in a load of trouble. And I'm basically top decking now. I did get the Trainer's Mail, so hopefully I'll get something good off of that. And he's going to get his break, and I'm hoping he doesn't have a water in his hand, because if he has a water in his hand, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Eco Arm, shuffling back 3 Bursting Balloons. That is annoying. And he does get the Giant Water Shuriken, so my Mega Gardevoire will be knocked out and just Shadow Stitching. That is extremely smart to Shadow Stitching. And there you go. I've lost. So I'm going to play one last game because that game just went downhill. Those Bursting Balloons were really killing me. And that Faded Town was extremely painful. My opponent's playing a Fire, Water, Psychic, Dark deck. I have no clue what this is. I'm going to call the coin flip. I call heads. It is heads. So I'm going to be going first. And I start Hoopa. And that is my worst start out of 3 starters. And I run 3 of them. So I'm bound to start with them quite a bit. So if you're always going to lose if you start with them, well then you shouldn't even bother playing this deck. Luckily, I am not going to lose, I hope. So my opponent is playing down their benched Pokemans. And it's taking an awful while. Doesn't even play down any. And I am playing against Rainbow Road. So I got Skyfield, and Rainbow Road is another not so good matchup. Mainly because I'm trading 2 for 1 on prizes. So probably isn't going to go very well, but I'll do my best and try hard. That's basically all I can do. So I'm going to grab a Hoopa, and one of my Hoopas is prized also. So that's not good. I'm going to Scoundrel Ring, Shaman, double Gardevoire. Play down 2 Gardevoirs, 1, 2, attach a Fairy Energy. And then I'm going to Trainer's Mail before Shamaning, and I did get the Gardevoir Spirit Link, so that was very good. Got the Gardevoir Spirit Link, put it on, and then set up 4 cards. I got a Super Rod, but I don't think I want to play the Super Rod. I actually got 2 Super Rods, so I'm just going to pass the turn. And what would have been really fun if I got a Hex Maniac so I could Hex my opponent, so then he can't get completely set up. So my opponent attaches a DCE to Xerneas, Fighting Fury Belt, Trainer's Mail. Hopefully he doesn't really hit anything off this. No draw supporters or anything. No Ultra Ball. He gets an N though. Let's see if he has anything else in his hand before he ends. Nope, just an N. And I'm fine with that. I didn't really want to discard 2 Super Rods because I would have to Sycamore. And of course I pull 2 Mega Gardevoirs. And this is actually quite a good hand, to be fair. I mean, I got 2 Mega Turbos, which I don't even have any energy in my disco pile to use 1. But yeah, if I did, then that would be very good, but I don't. So that's an issue. I got Mega Gardevoir, so I can Mega Evolve. I got the Escape Rope, so I can go into Mega Gardevoir. If only I had an energy in my disco pile, then this hand would be amazing. I love making my little mouse big. It's fun. So I got another Gardevoir. Might as well play it down. Mega Evolve, and then I'm just gonna Mega Evolve again because I might as well. And that ends my turn. Now it is my opponent's turn. He draws. So I really like this deck. It is a lot of fun once you get going. My opponent evolved into Garvantula, which does have 2 types, so he will be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 130, 140 damage. So not a knockout, which is good. And Max Elixir gets an energy or not. Doesn't get an energy. Plays down Xerneas. And Rainbow Forces for 140 damage. Not a knockout, luckily. I'm going to Escape Rope. And this is a situation where Switch would be so much better. But I'm just going to have to, unfortunately, stick with Escape Rope. And now, if I were my opponent, I would 100% bring up Xerneas. No question. Because this is 2 types. This is an EX. So there's really no question. I would just bring up a Xerneas, and unfortunately let my opponent knock out one of my main attackers, which is sad, but I mean, you don't want me to knock out one of the other ones, and yes, that is what he did. I'm going to bring up my Mega Gardevoire, of course. Be a Seeker, Sycamore, and I don't want a Sycamore away to Mega Turbos. But sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna attach a Fairy Energy to Mega Gardevoire. And, now I'm going to Trainer's Mail for a, I think I'm going to Trainer's Mail for a Ultra Ball. Because I already have a Lysandre in my hand, so. And I'm going to Ultra Ball away, Escape Rope, and a Gardevoire. Grabbing Shaman. And then I think I might want to I want a Super Rod to get back one line of Gardevoire, just so I can Shaman for 4 fresh cards. And that was a very nice and helpful Shaman. So now I'm just gonna Despair Ray, discard this damaged Hoopa, and deal 120 damage to knock him out. Take my prize, which is a Hoopa, which is basically exactly what I needed off my prizes. Because next turn I can Hoopa and just get all set up, which is awesome. So he brings up his Xerneas. And let's see what he does. Teammates. No, not teammates. Now he can get Volcanion. I bet he's going to get Volcanion, because Volcanion is just going to be a real pain. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. 260 damage. Owie. Yep. The power of Rainbow Road. I love Rainbow Road so much. I'm going to bring up Mega Gardevoire, attach a Fairy Energy, and then I'm going to Hoopa, Scoundrel Ring, for a Shaman. Yeah, I guess just a Shaman, that's annoying. But, I mean, it's better than nothing. Play Gardevoire, play Shaman, set up for 3 cards, got a Repeat Ball, it's not helpful, I don't have anything, so backup plan, stall, and just pass. That is my backup plan. It's an amazing backup plan. No way to foil it unless my opponent gets a Floatstone, not an AZ, that's not a format. Floatstone, Switch, Escape Rope. Any of those things could potentially completely mess up my plan. But for the most part, it's perfect. Kind of. So my opponent Max Elixirs. Probably going to hit the Max Elixir. Yep, onto the Xerneas. Ultra Balls. Bisharp. Gonna evolve that Poniard into a Bisharp. the last of the 3 dual types that Rainbow Road runs. Plays Super Rod, getting back Xerneas and 2 fairies. And Sycamores for a fresh 7 cards. And he's probably got like a floatstone or something in there. I hope he doesn't. If he does, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Basically, I'm actually going to keep that Volcanion stuck active for a while. And just hope I can power up enough so I can get 2 Gardevoires ready. And actually, that Mew is going to be a real problem and a pain. Because if he starts hitting with that, then I'm in a bit of a pickle, as they say. So I'm going to attach a Fairy Energy to Mega Gardevoir and just pass. And let's see what my opponent does. So my opponent has my opponent's deck just has a major upper hand over Gardevoir because it's a 2-for-1 prize trade. And that Xerneas down there just made my life so much harder. Via Seeker Sycamore plays that Sycamore. And this is weak to Psychic, so if I could get a hit on him, I would be doing a ton of damage. Grab the Floatstone. Floatstones into Xerneas. And uses Rainbow Force. Okay. What to do, of course. Just wants me to pass my turn. Just let everything, it all be gone. But if I attack him, I lose. So I kind of gotta Lysandre someone up. And who better than a Bisharp? And I don't want to hit him, so I'm just gonna evolve into Mega Gardevoir. Yeah. Maybe I could. Nope, it's over. You got the DCE. He's gonna Rainbow Force for a lot. And I had 2 pretty bad games, losing both of them. So, this deck is a ton of fun to play. And those 2 were some of my worst matchups. And I leveled up, yay. So, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys. And remember, if you have a deck you want me to review or something, just pop the name of the deck in the description, or not in the description, in the comment section below. And if you have like a specific list, just put that there too. Apart from that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!